As the silence of your everyday life wraps around you like a familiar blanket, there's a voice, one not of this world, crying out with an urgency that rattles the walls of heaven itself, and it bears your name. This is not a whisper, not a passing murmur caught in the wind. This is a scream, a divine cry echoing through eternity from someone who once walked beside you, laughed with you, perhaps even raised you or held your hand in your darkest hour. This soul, who has now crossed the veil into the kingdom of heaven, is desperately trying to reach you, and the message they carry is not merely sentimental or symbolic. It is a sacred warning, a prophetic utterance rooted in divine urgency. You may have sensed something lately, a heaviness in the air, an unexplained shift in your emotions, dreams that linger longer than usual, shadows that flicker in the corners of your room when you're alone. These are not coincidences. These are signs. This is the supernatural bridge between worlds trembling under the weight of a message too important to be ignored. Your name is being spoken in the spiritual realm with a force that defies comprehension. And every time you ignore the tingling in your spine or brush off that feeling of being watched, you turn your face from the one who is crying out for your salvation, for your protection, for your destiny. The soul who calls out to you now is not merely remembering. They are intervening, because something is approaching. A moment, an encounter, a fork in your path that will demand a choice from you. This choice will seem small at first, almost inconsequential, but it will determine whether you rise into your highest calling or fall prey to a trap laid by hands not of light, but of shadow. The one calling you sees what you do not, the betrayal hiding in kindness, the false promise dressed as love, the smile that conceals a dagger. They have seen the scroll of time rolled open before the throne of God, and your name written in golden light, surrounded by destinies you have yet to claim. But you cannot walk into those blessings blindly, and that is why they scream. This soul knows how easily your heart loves, how quickly you forgive, and how often you doubt yourself. And so they raise their voice louder, piercing the boundaries of time and space to shake you from your slumber. They have been granted permission to intervene now, because the moment is near. Your name is surrounded by spiritual warfare, and even though you may not see it, every angel in heaven is aware of the battle waging over your life right now. Archangel Michael stands at the gate, sword drawn, watching, waiting for your next move, because heaven cannot protect what does not want to be saved. You must open your eyes. The loved one who screams for you now has pleaded before God on your behalf. They have offered their tears, their love, and their heavenly influence so that you might be spared from a darkness you have not yet recognized. They speak of a person in your life, someone close, trusted, but harboring intentions that are spiritually corrosive. This person is not what they seem. They are not sent by God. And if you allow them further into your life, you will feel the slow erosion of your confidence, your joy, your peace. But heaven is not silent. The voice you hear in your spirit, the cry that awakens you in the night, is real. It's not imagination. It's not a memory. It's not grief. It is a spiritual broadcast from beyond this world, and it is increasing in volume with every passing hour. The reason you feel more tired lately, the reason you've been waking at strange hours, the reason your soul feels unsettled, this is spiritual resistance. The one who calls you is fighting through layers of distraction, disbelief, and darkness to reach you. They are not giving up. You must not give up either. There is still time to turn, to listen, to obey. Do not delay, for with every moment, the warning grows more urgent, and the hands that seek to mislead you move closer. And though heaven's voice is powerful, it cannot force you to heed it. You must choose to believe. You must choose to respond. And the response begins with one sacred act. Continue listening. There is something you must understand now. This cry from heaven is not only a warning about danger, but also a plea for transformation. The one screaming your name is not doing so to frighten you. but to wake you from the fog that has begun to dim your discernment. They are weeping because they see how often you've doubted your worth, how often you've allowed your boundaries to be broken in the name of love or loyalty, and how close you've come to abandoning your divine identity. You were not made to survive in silence. You were not created to carry the burdens of betrayal and confusion while pretending everything is fine. The one who calls you knows the truth. They know the days you've cried behind closed doors, the secrets you've never spoken aloud, the questions you've asked late at night with no answers. Why do I feel like something is watching me? Why do I keep thinking of someone who's already passed? Why does my soul feel like it's trembling even when my body is still? Those questions are not madness. They are echoes, echoes of the divine voice, trying to get through the noise of your life. This soul, this guardian from heaven, was once tethered to this earth by flesh and blood, but now they walk in the realm of spirit, and they have been granted special permission to intercede for you. They have traded rest for vigilance, exchanged peace for pleading, because they love you that much. They're the spiritual watchmen posted over your soul, and they know that what is coming requires your full attention. They are not alone. There are others in the unseen realms, ancestors, angels, divine messengers, who are aligning in formation around you, waiting for you to make the one decision that will change everything. To trust the message, to recognize the signs, to stop explaining away what you feel deep in your bones. Because the darkness creeping near you is not metaphorical, it is real. And it has taken the form of manipulation, deceit, and emotional entanglements designed to drain your spirit and blind your vision. Heaven can see that you've been giving too much of yourself to the wrong people, that you've been accepting crumbs when you were meant for a feast. The one who screams your name wants you to know that you've been settling in relationships that devalue you, settling in environments that stifle your growth, settling in beliefs that convince you miracles are not for people like you. But that is a lie crafted by forces that tremble at your awakening. The scream from heaven grows louder because you are nearing a point of breakthrough. You're not imagining the sudden spiritual pressure or emotional intensity. Your dreams are becoming more vivid, your instincts sharper, and it's not by chance. It's preparation. The heavens are preparing to release something extraordinary into your life, a divine inheritance written with your name before time began. But the key to unlocking it is awareness. You must not walk blindly into the snares that have been set for you. You must not ignore that feeling when someone speaks kind words, but your spirit recoils. The person from heaven crying out for you sees what you cannot see, a deception cloaked in charm, a delay disguised as a blessing, a smile that hides spiritual sabotage. If you do not pause and discern now, if you do not listen to the voice rising from the eternal, you risk stepping into a chapter not authored by God, but by confusion. Heaven is weeping because of what you're about to believe, about who you're about to trust. This person, who appears to be a safe harbor, carries with them an energy that poisons slowly, an energy that will drain your purpose, manipulate your mind, and sabotage the blessings hovering just above your life. The one who screams your name knows that if you do not open your eyes now, you may delay your destiny by years. They scream not because you are weak, but because you are powerful, and your power has drawn attention. Darkness fears you. Your light unsettles the forces of deception, and so you have become a target. But you are not unprotected. Archangel Michael has been dispatched. Divine swords have been drawn. The spiritual alarms have been sounded in the courts of heaven, and God Himself has acknowledged the urgency. This is not a test. This is a turning point. The reason you feel that pull in your chest, that trembling before sleep, that chill that runs through your bones when you're alone, it is the sound of eternity pressing close to the veil, begging you to notice what your eyes have missed. They're trying to save you from the moment that hasn't happened yet, but is fast approaching. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing. Willing to believe. Willing to walk away from anything that dims your spirit. Willing to heed a cry that has crossed realms to reach you. Because when someone in heaven is willing to scream your name, it means your name carries power. It means your story isn't over. It means your calling is bigger than what you've been told. And the one who has been crying out for you is not done. They're not giving up. They have one more thing to show you, and what comes next will change everything. Keep listening. The revelation is coming. They have not rested, not for 1 second. The voice crying your name has pierced the veil between the worlds because your moment of decision is arriving faster than you realize. This voice that echoes through the silence of your nights, the whisper in the wind, the inexplicable tug in your spirit, they are all one thing: the love of someone you thought was gone, refusing to let you be destroyed. You must understand that the spiritual realm is not governed by time the way Earth is. To them, your past, present, and future are laid bare like an open scroll. They have seen what is coming before you ever dreamed it, and they have seen who is coming before you ever trusted them. Someone with a sweet tongue and empty intentions. Someone with a charming face but a shadowed soul. Someone who is not sent by God, but sent to delay you, distract you, detour you. And this soul who screams your name, they have seen you at the fork in the road. They've seen the version of you that chooses the wrong voice, the false promise, the poison gift. And it breaks their heart to see you walk into that darkness blindly. That is why they are screaming. That is why they are pleading. Because this time, if you don't listen, the cost will not be a lesson. It will be a loss. There are people around you right now who smile in your face, but mock your spirit when you're not looking. They sense your anointing and resent it. They see your calling before you fully do. And they're hoping desperately that you keep sleeping on your purpose long enough for them to pull you into spiritual agreements that will siphon your light. Some of these people are in positions of influence in your life. Some may even claim to love you. But the one in heaven sees past all performances. They know who they truly are in the spirit. They know the curses being whispered behind closed doors. They know the envy in the silence, the lies and the laughter, the manipulation hidden in concern. And they want you to wake up. You are more powerful than you realize. Your discernment is being activated now because the veil is lifting and the truth is rising like smoke. The one in heaven screaming your name is guiding you toward the only path that will preserve your destiny. But you have to choose. You must choose obedience over comfort, truth over appearances, clarity over convenience. You may feel alone in this season, but you are not abandoned. You are surrounded by divine forces more than ever before. They are standing shoulder to shoulder in the unseen, covering you with wings of protection, whispering revelations into your subconscious, leading you gently through dreams, numbers, repeated signs, strange coincidences that are not coincidences at all. Have you noticed how certain names or phrases are repeating lately? Have you seen the same symbol in multiple places, as if it's trying to grab your attention? Have people appear in your life suddenly, almost suspiciously, offering too much, too fast, too conveniently? That is not random. That is orchestration. The voice from heaven that cries out for you has been working through these signals, urging you to wake up and walk away from what looks good but feels off. Your intuition is divine. That gut feeling is not just survival. It's spiritual warfare in disguise. The person in heaven wants you to remember that not everything dressed in light comes from God. Not every opportunity is an answered prayer. Some doors are traps with golden handles. And still, you're loved. You are loved more fiercely than you could ever comprehend. This soul who screams your name would move heaven and earth to protect you. In fact, they're already doing that. They're standing in divine courts, interceding on your behalf. They are asking God for mercy, for time, for favor over your life. They're crying out for your heart to be softened, for your ears to be opened, for your eyes to finally see what they see so clearly. You are about to enter a season that will either elevate you or entangle you. The one in heaven cannot make the choice for you, but they can scream loud enough to make you pause. That pause is everything. In that pause, heaven can speak. In that pause, angels can move. In that pause, you can remember who you are and who you are not. You're not the abandoned child. You are not the forgotten soul. You're not the one who always loses. You are the chosen one. You are the anointed one. You are the one that darkness fears, which is why it's trying to seduce you through disguise. So listen now. Do not dismiss that sudden chill on your skin. Do not ignore the message that keeps finding you. No matter how far you scroll, how much you distract yourself, how much you tell yourself you're imagining things. You're not imagining it. You are awakening. And the scream from heaven is not a curse. It is a calling to come higher, to step into the divine timeline that was written for you long before you were born. A timeline where your spiritual gifts are unlocked, where your healing finally breaks through, where your purpose meets provision. But you must clear the interference. You must walk away from the illusion. You must silence the voices that flatter your ego but poison your soul. Because what's coming is so holy, so sacred, that God will not allow it to be contaminated by people who are not meant to witness it. The one in heaven knows that if you say yes to the wrong person, you say no to the right future. They're crying out to stop you from forfeiting what they gave their life to protect. And they still have more to say. Stay alert. The final message is about to be revealed. You were never meant to carry this weight alone, and the voice from heaven knows it, which is why they've been reaching across realms just to deliver this final plea, this last whisper before a choice is made that cannot be undone. Listen now, deeply, with the ears of your soul, for this is not the kind of warning that comes with flashing signs or thunderclaps, but with the still, aching presence of someone who once held your hand and now hovers over your spirit with trembling urgency, crying out not in anger, but in desperate, eternal love. They have seen the contracts forming in the spirit behind your back. They've watched shadows gather in the corners of rooms you've walked into, and they've heard your name whispered in places of envy, jealousy, and sabotage. And still, they're fighting for your freedom, standing between you and the snare you don't see, weeping not because you are weak, but because you are strong and unaware of how deeply your strength is being hunted. Do you not? Feel how often you are drained for no reason, how conversations that should uplift you leave you cold, how dreams are clouded, how clarity dances just out of reach. These are not coincidences. These are battles being waged in silence around your destiny. And the soul that loved you in life, and even more in death, is screaming now, because the veil is thinner than ever, and heaven has been given permission to intervene one final time before your next decision either blesses generations or binds you to spiritual delays you were never meant to suffer. You need to know that someone is watching you from above with the kind of fierce tenderness only eternity allows. And they're not at peace because you're not at peace, because your light is flickering in storms you didn't choose. And they see that one more compromise, one more trusted lie, one more harmless entanglement could lock a door that heaven has been trying to open for years. This is why they keep showing up in your dreams, in your thoughts, in quiet moments when the world fades and something deeper speaks. This is why you've been feeling eyes on you when no one's there, warmth when you pray, chills when you're about to speak something true, because they are there urging you to finally take the step that sets your spirit free. And know this now. Even as they scream, they're also holding space for you to choose what your spirit already knows to be right. And if you could just break the cycle this time, just walk away for what feels familiar but isn't sacred. If you can trust that the silence after obedience is not abandonment, but alignment, then something divine will open doors that no man or curse can shut. Favor that flows without manipulation. A peace that doesn't need performance. And the feeling of finally being fully seen, not just by heaven, but by the version of yourself that your loved one in heaven never stopped believing in. So let this message pierce the fog. Let their voice crack the illusion. Let their grief become your awakening, because their cry is not only a warning, it is a final act of love. A holy scream to bring you home before it's too late.